Today is Real Talk Tuesday. Today I will be taking y'all back in time. What's up, y'all? So I just want to address things as they come. What's up, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with another video. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is B Octavia. I am an entrepreneur straight out of DC, and I'm 24 years old. So here on my channel, I like to talk about current events, and I also like to take y'all back in time. Now, these scenarios that I mention on my channel, there's always a lesson to be learned from them. We're not just going to talk shit about them. We're not just talking about them just for views and stuff like that. We're talking about them because these problems come up in today's time as well. So, today is Real Talk Tuesday, and in Real Talk Tuesday, I like to cover scenarios, situations, both tragic and some with good endings. I also like to talk about the people and events that had a negative or positive impact on society. Today I will be taking y'all back in time and talking about the time 4 people that were killed in a police headquarters in 1994. 2 FBI agents and a district police detective were killed inside a DC police headquarters November 22nd, 1994. 2 other people were wounded when a gunman opened fire on the 3rd floor of this building. The gunman was also killed, but there is a conspiracy with that. I'm not sure if they ever came to a conclusion of who actually fired the shots at the gunman, but we will get into that. The shooting occurred at 3:30 p.m. That's right around the time where the school kids is getting out, unfortunately. And this shooting happened in one of the busiest government buildings in the district, which is absolutely appalling. Now, why I wanted to talk about this was I watched the Sean Branch interview again recently, and he talked about Benny Lawson. And it was very brief, but it was interesting. I had no idea that this happened before Sean Branch talked about it. So when it came up on that part, I was like, okay, this is like the 3rd time of me watching this interview, of me hearing Benny Lawson's name and what made his story very both tragic and something like out of a movie, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, I have to cover this and see how many people know about it and see how many people don't. Now, so where all of this transpired was in a squad room in the police headquarters. And this squad room was occupied by the homicide task force. And this task force was made up of FBI agents and DC police detectives. The gunman, who was in his mid-20s at the time, Benny Lawson, rode the elevator to the 3rd floor with 2 other individuals, then entered the task force room and opened fire with a semi-automatic weapon. And we'll also get into those 2 people that rode the elevator with Benny Lawson. In addition to the agents and the DC police detective that were killed, another FBI agent was wounded and a 15-year-old boy was wounded as well. The deceased detective, his name was Henry Joseph Daly. He was a supervisor in the task force, and he was a DC police officer for 28 years. And this task force was combined with a homicide task force and a cold case task force. The 2 deceased FBI agents, the first one was Martha Martinez, and the second agent was Michael Miller. and they were assigned to the same task force as Henry Daly. The task force that all of them were involved in was formed in 1992. So this shooting happened only 2 years after this force was put together. Now, remember I told y'all about the 15-year-old that was wounded in this shooting. Ironically, the 15-year-old and the other civilians, so apparently there was 3 other people alongside the 3 victims. So there's 6 people. They didn't really make a count, but this is my count. There are at least 6 people in this room. There is the 15-year-old that was wounded, the FBI agent that was wounded, another civilian that was with the 15-year-old that was wounded, and there was the 2 agents and the police officer that was killed. There's 6 people that we know of, right? And make sure you remember that. So ironically, the 15-year-old and the civilian that was in the room rode the elevator with Benny Lawson, and they stepped into the room, the task force room, almost at the same time that Benny Lawson did. And ironically, those 2 people, the 15-year-old and the civilian, were being questioned by homicide detectives the night previous. So the night before this shooting happened, these 2 were being questioned. What were they being questioned about, you ask? We're going to get into that. Benny Lawson had been questioned by the homicide division, by homicide detectives, a week before this shooting happened. So in my head, it's like, did all of them get questioned about the same case? I mean, all of these things that are very ironic are coming up. It would make sense to me that ironically all of them are being talked to about the same scenario. And they did not specify what the 15-year-old and the other civilian were being questioned about, but Benny Lawson was being questioned about a triple slang that happened in Northwest. In that case, a 89-year-old man was shot and killed in a dispute or a fight after the suspects gunned down his granddaughter and a neighbor. So, what I want to get into right now is Benny Lawson's criminal history as we know. And this is the timeline of how we got to this place, you know, of how he got to this place. So, in September 1990, Benny Lawson and 5 other young men were arrested on weapons charges in a police raid that happened, I believe that was in Northwest as well.